All About Beer receives underwriting support from Wall and Paupack Brewing Company. They understand the importance of independent journalism in the beer space, and their support helps fund original work. Learn how you can affordably support journalists by visiting allaboutbeer.com/support.
Welcome to Drink Beer, Think Beer, the podcast that gets to the bottom of every pint. I'm John Holl. The Craft Brewers Conference kicks off in Indianapolis next week, and if you're headed to the Circle City, you're likely looking for a bar, restaurant, and entertainment options. You're in luck. This week, it's a roundtable episode with three Hoosiers that know all the best spots. And even if you're not going to the conference, the city is still one you should visit for beer. And this seems like it's a good time to invite you to come out and see some of our shows in person. During the Craft Brewers Conference in Indianapolis, we're going to be setting up at Sun King Brewery for 3 days of live audience recordings. Join us on April 28th, 29th, and 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. as we bring you shows like Drink Beer, Think Beer, Brewer to Brewer. Ashley Carter is hosting one from Bierstadt. Mitch Steele of New Realm is hosting another one. And the All About Beer podcast is going to do a couple of recordings as well. You can actually meet Don Tess and M. Souter in person. And on that Tuesday, I should say, the 29th, M. Souter is going to be celebrating 15 years of Pints and Panels with a special pop-up shop that's going to take place right after her and Don's show is over. So come on out. You can learn more by going to allaboutbeer.com/CBC 2025. You can also keep up with all of the events and more on our social media. We're at All About Beer across the major platforms. And if you have comments, guest suggestions, or want to reach out, you can always email me at John Holl, it's JOHNHOLL, at allaboutbeer.com. We are supported by you. So please go over to allaboutbeer.com/support and learn how just a few bucks can have a huge impact in supporting original journalism in the beer space. And on that note, thanks to this episode's sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Stomp Stickers. Stomp makes it easy for breweries to stock up on the essential packaging and promotional supplies all in one place. From beer labels and keg collars to coasters, beer boxes, and more, they've got you covered. Plus, every product is backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and their full-time support squad is ready to help anytime. Visit stompstickers.com and use code THINKBEER for 15% off of your first order. You love craft beer. You'll love Indy. The Indy Craft Pass is your free passport to more than 40 of the city's best breweries: Sun King, Metazoa, Upland, and so many more. Check in, earn points, score swag. Yes, beer can actually win you prizes. Sip local and explore new tap rooms and make your beer run count. Grab your free Indy Craft Pass now at visitindy.com and let the good beers roll. If you're running a brewery, owner or operator, Beer 30 by The Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow, from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. If you've been listening to this show for the last couple of weeks, you've had the chance to hear from some of the city's top brewers. But there's a lot more to do in Indianapolis, so I'm glad to welcome this panel to give us the lowdown on the very best things to do in the city. Julia Whitson is the executive director of the Indiana Brewers Guild. She's been with the Guild since the end of 2021 and has helped them find their footing in the post-pandemic era by bringing brewery members back into the fold, facilitating legislative efforts that support industry needs, and spearheading a rebranding effort. She came onto the Indiana craft beer scene with a decade-long background in nonprofit management that includes experience in all aspects of keeping organizations running successfully and empowering their members to shine in their area of expertise. John Allison is an Indianapolis native and BJCP National Bead mead and cider judge with over 10 years experience in both national and international competitions. He is the co-judge coordinator of the Indiana Brewers Cup along with Sandy Cochran, and he is this year's World Beer Cup volunteer coordinator. And Eddie Chimi is a beer industry veteran. He's got 25 years of sales and management experience at the wholesale, brewery, and raw material and equipment levels. He's an avid traveler and pizza explorer. They sat down with me at Gugman House Brewery. Here's our conversation. Welcome to the show to the three of you. I'm really excited about this because when Indianapolis was announced as host of the Craft Brewers Conference and the World Beer Cup, there was this collective groan that I felt went out by the rest of the country, being like, why are we going to Indy? And it's like, hang on, this is going to be awesome. Like, Vegas was terrible. Indy is going to be awesome. Julia, tell us why Indianapolis is the place to be for beer.
Well, it's a great spot to be after Vegas, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was so bad.
Well,
it was so bad.
I mean, we should give them a little credit. It's not all bad beer in Vegas. It just wasn't close by. People had to travel a lot. And one thing about Indy that's great is we have a lot right downtown.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're the crossroads of America.
We are.
The Circle City. So when I lived here 20 plus years ago and worked for the local newspaper, the joke in town was, it's really exciting on this Saturday. We're all going to get together by the Soldiers and Sailors Monument and somebody's going to get a haircut and we're all going to watch.
A haircut?
Yeah. Like, because it was like it was a boring thing, but it was the only exciting thing that was going on. And now it's better. Now it's much, much better.
It is much better.
It's much better. All right. So Vegas bashing aside, which is just too easy. You guys don't have the benefit of fish rolling through town that weekend.
That's true.
But talk to me about the evolution, and any of you guys can jump in on this, but talk to me about the evolution as you've seen it of Indy's beer scene to get to the point where it's a city that is not Denver, Chicago, San Diego, Portland, either of them, where it's like it ranks as like a beer city in people's minds. How did we get to this point where Indianapolis is hosting a World Beer Cup and a CBC?
Well, I think it's a little bit two-part, right? So we have a number of breweries in the greater Indianapolis area. You were just talking about, in 2011 there were 37.
When I co-wrote the book, Indiana Breweries, in 2011, there were 37. And I think 4 of them are still open right now. Maybe 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, since then...
Sun King hadn't opened yet, but I squeezed them in.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone from 37 to over 200 in the state.
Yeah.
So that's quite a big growth in the past how many ever years, right? And so that, I think, coupled with, I think it's really fair to talk about how Indianapolis in general is a great convention city. We do big events very well, regardless of whether, people are here for beer or something else. And so put those things together, I think everyone's going to have a really fun time.
Okay. It's been interesting to see Indianapolis on the national stage, right? I mean, the NCAA every other year, comes through, and there's obviously the museum and the association that's set up here. But when you guys built the new stadium and then got the Super Bowl, and then it does feel like there's some juice behind it as well. And what I've been impressed with, again, being back only for 5-6 hours now, but I've walked in and out of a couple of bars and hotels. There's local taps in various hotels. There's local taps, neons in the window. Ohio native Eddie Chimi, you're here now. I mean, what is it about Indy that you get excited with? You're anybody who follows you online is like, well, where in the world is Eddie Chimi today? Literally in the world. And you keep coming home here, I know, for your kids. But it's what's good about Indy?
Yeah, I've actually moved to Indianapolis, I think 6 times in my life. So it's the location I've moved to the most. But it's a very clean and safe city for its size. Also, it's really close to Chicago, to Columbus, Ohio, to Cincinnati, to Nashville, Tennessee, to Louisville, It's a really easy weekend trip to a lot of fantastic places, Detroit, Western Michigan, etc.
But that's always been Indy's problem, though. It's a nice place to be if you've never been anywhere else, is how it was once described to me. And then there's also, though, this like, okay, like Crossroads of America, you can get to any other city from here fairly easily. But we're talking about being here for a week. We're talking about being here for a couple of days. Like, sure, go to Chicago, go to Nashville if you want to, go to Detroit, I guess. But like, why stay here?
Yeah, I mean, we
be a booster for your adoptive city, damn it.
Yeah, we have so many unique places. I mean, we've got Futuro Pizza, which I think does the best Detroit-style pizza in the country, better than what I've had in Michigan. We've got Working Man's Friend, which is a bar tavern that's been open for well over 100 years, serving one of the best smash burgers that you'll ever have in your life.
What's it called, Working Man?
Working Man's Friend.
Where is that?
Just near West Side, so just past the zoo.
Okay.
We also have the Kurt Vonnegut Museum. I mean, Kurt Vonnegut's from here, so any literary fans know exactly who that is and why he's so important.
Absolutely.
We've got the Rathskeller, which is, I think, a 100-year-old German beer hall, traditional style beer hall that is fantastic. So there's all these cultural things to see and do around. We've got the Crispus Attucks Museum, and the first Indianapolis high school that was segregated in the early 1900s. So there's a great African American and music history here as well. So a very long gospel history. The local NPR station was just doing a program on that, and it's a very interesting listen. So there's so much here. There's so much great music around town, so much great art, so many unique food places. The diversity has increased over the last 10 years for food styles and food types and immigration, which helps us all. The more immigration we have is a benefit to our society, and we've seen that.
So, John, make the case.
I was just going to say, there is so much to say about Indiana being a point of interest for people, and I think too much is hinged upon that Midwest conception, and there's this kind of, I guess, boredom that immediately enters people's minds when they think of the Midwest. But seriously,
you're not wrong.
For everywhere that I've been, whether it's outside the country or on the other side of the East Coast, West Coast, people are always saying, "What is there to do in Indianapolis?" Well, there's, other than what Chimi just described, there is so much. As far as our nature walks, the cultural trail, the White River Park, then we have the additional museums, that are unique, I think, to every city, if that's what you're interested in.
Yeah.
But in addition to like the cultural aspects, there are certain areas in downtown, like Fountain Square, or like Mass Ave, that also have this kind of unique concentration of culture and are supported by local breweries and the craft beer scene, which kind of give it its own unique flavor. And, we haven't talked about it yet, but from my perspective, when Indy came up for World Beer Cup, I really wasn't too surprised, especially with my background coming from judging BJCP, the competitions. Indiana Brewers Cup is one of the largest amateur competitions in the United States.
It's huge.
And so we have a pretty high concentration of BJCP judges, homebrewers, and craft beer enthusiasts that I think make supporting World Beer Cup kind of natural.
Talk to me about how that community was grown and fostered.
We're talking well over 20 years. I am a member of the Foam Blowers of Indiana, which is quite an esteemed homebrew club.
Oh, yeah.
What is it called?
Foam Blowers of Indiana, the FBI, in case anybody's wondering.
I don't know if that's safe these days, but that's fine. Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're great.
They're great. Great.
We tap kegs, not phones. That's our shtick. But I started my journey into Indiana craft beer started right around 2010, 2011. But I learned quickly when I joined this organization with the Homebrew Club that there is so much beyond that. One of our hot spots that we typically go and meet up at is the Broad Ripple Brew Pub, which is a little bit outside of downtown Indianapolis.
But been around forever.
That's forever.
Like 89? 91, 92. It's
I want to say 92. I could be wrong.
But it's really old and really early. Yeah.
It is, but it's there's this kind of
and so good.
It is.
Yeah.
Recently got, what was the certification that they got? Cask mark.
Oh, they got a cask mark.
They got a cask mark. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
So-
you can stop in any time, get a traditional ESB on cask, and it's one of the best I've had in the entire country.
Fuck.
Yeah, wonderful place.
Is Plump's Last Shot still like around the corner from there or up the street from there?
Still there, yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
If you want to shoot some free throws afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we all failed to mention the rich racing heritage and traditions.
We'll get to
here in
it.
Indy
Yeah, we'll
as
talk.
well.
We'll talk about it.
But
Yeah.
I think the people really are the most important part as well. The people are so friendly and so nice, and they open up their arms. Of course, there's exceptions, but
No. I'm sighing
it's
because
fantastic.
I had forgotten how friendly people in Indianapolis are. And coming from Jersey, where I'm very cynical and very siloed and very skeptical, like the genuine. I remember when I first moved here, I was at a Starbucks one morning around the corner from my apartment on Mass Ave, and it was early, and I had a keychain from my apartment. And it was the property management. I forget the name of it. And somebody said to me like, "Oh, you're part of the blah 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 family." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, your keychain. Like you live in one of those buildings. I do too." And I was like, "What? Like what? Why are you talking to me in the line for coffee?" And then like the barista was like overly friendly and meant it. And like it was just one of these things where coming from Jersey, I was immediately like my fists were up the entire time. And when I landed today, my Lyft driver from the airport to the hotel was like telling me his life story about growing up in Andersonville and everything. I was like, this is awesome. Like this, I appreciate it now 20 years later. But at the time, like anybody who's coming into town for CBC and you're coming from a cynical part of the country, which I feel like is most of it right now, but like you're coming from the cynical part, people are going to engage you in friendly conversation, and you should just immediately put your armor down and just accept it and go from there.
Completely.
But John, I want to go back to so you weren't surprised though when it came up. Like I feel like a lot of other people were.
Well, no, and to go back to that point, a lot of the the breweries that started up here began as home brewers. And there is that connection and there is that support that, a lot of us, especially in the amateur community, the judging community, the BJCP, are mindful of. And those of us that are still involved with World Beer Cup coming up, who are volunteering and helping to support, we understand, that kind of natural growth and maturation from an amateur and a beer lover or an enthusiast. There's eventual aspirations to pro, and this is like this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The camaraderie strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Indiana has not been immune to what's happening in the larger beer space these days, and I know you've lost some members and some member breweries in the last year or so. But Julie, from your standpoint though, that community that John was talking about, that homebrew history, now there's 10 years on breweries like Sun King and even longer with Three Floyds and some of the others that have operated in the state that have built that foundation. What do you see as the state of your membership in 2025 and what they're building towards for 2026 and beyond?
So you make a good point. We've seen some what I would call sad closures,
Sure.
right, in the last several months.
Yeah.
But one thing that I try to keep in mind is that every time we see a closure, I'm also hearing about a new brewery opening. And so I think there's an ebb and flow to who you're going to see in your neighborhood. One thing we've talked a lot about with our members in the past, I'll call it year or 2 years, is them getting creative with their offerings and not just focusing specifically on the beer anymore, because they are not just competing with other breweries, they're competing with restaurants, they're competing with organizations that provide fun activities, which is why you're starting to see so many trivia nights or paint with a beer sort of situations, things like that, to keep people engaged and keep them coming back. And so I think we're starting to see a lot of that. People really doing a lot of focus on great menus on the food side.
Yeah.
Because people want a meal with their beer. And so I think that hospitality focus is what we're seeing a lot more of now than we did probably 10 years ago.
I know you can't pick favorites because you are the executive
They're all my
director
favorites.
of-
The dues-paying ones are my most favorite.
The promptly paying ones.
In that vein, though, who's doing that well? Like, who do you point to as leaders in the state industry, like in the industry in the state, that you're like, yeah, let's look to them for moving us forward,
Sure.
For being a guiding light.
Well, we're sitting at Googman House right now, who's
Yeah,
doing
we
an
sure are.
awesome job across the board at everything, right? They have a great story to tell. They have great beer, really good food, activities. The place is packed all the time. In addition,
coffee shop.
And the coffee
And the
shop,
coffee
yeah,
shop,
and
yeah.
that was pretty newly launched, right? They just kind of right next door. It's very complementary to everything else they're offering. They opened a second satellite location to serve
Up on
their
46, yeah.
patrons that are a little bit outside of the downtown area. So I think they're really hitting the mark. Moontown is another one that comes to mind that's doing kind of full service activities, food, hospitality. They've got that down. Way up north, for anybody coming to Indy from Michigan, Chicago area, Byway Brewing does a great job with food and beer kind of right off the interstate there. Let's see, Quaffon down in Nashville.
God, I forgot about
Yeah,
them.
a little bit of an older brewery. They're an
they-
OG sort of.
They were Big Woods.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, they're a
Still
whole family,
Okay.
right? So they're kind of embracing that. The Quaffon Brewery is also kind of done in conjunction with Big Woods Restaurant.
Right, but
and then
the
also
brewery was originally called
yes, yeah.
Big Woods, and
Yeah.
then they that's how they ended all of their social media posts was Quaffon. And, like,
Yeah,
that-
exactly,
that all-
exactly.
Holy shit, they're still open.
Yeah, they are, and they
They're doing great. They also have Hard Truth Distilling that's part
Yeah.
of their operation.
Yeah.
That's doing really well. And I forget 7 or 9 different outlets they have now.
lots of restaurants across
all right.
across the state. If you're ever in the area,
Yeah.
their campus, they're at Hard Truth with all of the things that they do is just really outstanding.
Okay.
Worth a trip.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
those
were
are
in,
just
like,
a few.
small little
I'm
house
sure
when they first opened
they
up,
were,
but
and
yeah.
I'm sure I'm forgetting some. But
Okay.
these are the ones that come to mind really quickly.
Yeah. John, for you, like, who stands out? Like,
Well, with being mostly, my wife and I live centrally located, and so we have probably a perimeter within 465 that we normally go.
Sure.
So we typically
that's the highway that goes around the city.
right,
Yeah.
and we'll typically hit up anywhere from Daredevil Hall up north. That's a little bit farther up north.
Love the pizza at Daredevil.
Yeah, absolutely
All right,
fantastic.
stop. You guys are killing me with the
Chimi
pizza.
approved.
We're gonna get to it in just a minute, where I'm gonna tell you why your pizza is wrong. But Daredevil is also a really great spot if you're on your way to or from the airport.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
And they also have a location out by Speedway. So
Right.
if
Or
you're-
maybe that's the one I'm thinking
That's
about.
the brewery
that's
location.
Yeah.
that's the brewery location,
But closer. That's closer to the airport.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Sorry.
Which is also closer by the museum, the Indy,
Indianapolis Motor
IMS Speedway. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's another great combination.
Yeah.
We also hit up. We're kind of fortunate enough. Beer Brewery's original location is like
BIER.
BIER,
Yeah.
is within 5 minutes of our house. So
I've
that's
never
another
seen you there,
frequenter.
John.
That's surprising, given how tall
We're
I
there
am.
on, yeah, I know. We must be there on separate days.
For all the listeners out there, I'm 6'11". You don't have to ask me when you see me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As somebody who is 5'5" and a half, because that half at my size really matters.
I'll let you know a secret. It's actually 6'10" and 3/4. I just round up.
And no one can tell the difference because your neck just
Right. Yeah. No.
straight up.
It's
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a chiropractor that follows you around just for free adjustments for the rest of us. I like that.
I have him on retainer. Yeah.
The overhead will kill you. I like Beer Brewery. God, I'd forgotten all about them.
Well, and there's some other breweries on that kind of side of town, a little bit farther up north. We'll usually hit Primeval too, but then we'll come all the way down off of Keystone, where we're at near the fairgrounds. You got Black Circle, whose operations over at Loom.
Yeah, Loom. It may be the only laundromat brewery in the country. So pop in the tasting room, have some Black Circle beers. They have spirits they distill as well, and you can do your laundry while you're there.
And
they have
arcades.
vintage
Pinball
arcade
machines.
games and pinball machines. It's definitely one of my favorite spots in town.
Very fun place. Yeah.
There's so much to unpack on that.
It's quirky.
Well,
and
you
such a
unpack
good
with your
time.
dirty laundry, John, and just
Yeah.
bring it there and get it done.
Right. It's like, oh, everything tastes like soap. Yeah, it's the Tide Pod Challenge in a hazy IPA.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. I like that. I interrupted you, though.
No.
Challenge you.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many places. And the other fortunate thing that we have is whenever my wife and I decide to go out and hit up, Fountain Square, where there are a lot of really great eclectic restaurants.
Fountain Square. Yeah.
Do a little bit of duck pin bowling, and then hit up Chili Water. And on the way home, you can always hit up Metazoa and Sun King on the way back. So
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity when you want to go out. A lot of it, I think, which is great that we're talking about it, when you're coming from out of Indiana, it's good to know somebody or to have a collection of interests, because otherwise you're either overwhelmed or you're just out of the loop.
Yeah. And I do feel I'm not here to shit on the town, but like there is a lot downtown that I've seen that is just sort of like generic restaurants where it's like, oh, we have a lot of TVs, and then you walk in at 50 taps and it's like none of them are good or local, like that kind of thing. So I think these conversations are helpful, because if you're coming to the convention center and you're staying downtown, it can be very easy to fall into a place where it's just going to be, bad pours of Modelo, and if that's what you want, like by all means, but like one or two doors down, you'll probably find something, or a 5-minute Lyft ride away, you're going to be in a really great spot. So, did you want to jump in?
No, I was just going to say, you make a good point. We're talking a lot about breweries, but there are a number of restaurants that really embrace craft beer too, and have some local taps like that that you mentioned. So those are not to be missed.
No, I want to talk about the restaurants in a minute, but Chimi, you haven't had a chance to talk about like breweries that stand out in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, geographically, I frequent Daredevil Hall in Gugman. I love the people, I love the beer, and they're closest to my house.
And they love you.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Everyone loves Eddie.
I seriously
Can't help it.
Like the reason that we're here is because of Eddie, and I come
Because he's
walking.
so nice. He's got that Midwest nice.
It's
Hoosier
weird.
hospitality.
I know
thing
all the
going.
way.
I know.
Yeah, he's Hoosier through and through.
Yes,
He's
you've
never
nailed
mad.
me. You've got me completely down. One
The
of my other...
the man decked out in Ohio State gear right now,
this is Coach
calling
Brian
him,
Day.
calling him a Hoosier through and through. Like that just wounded you, and I love it, because like your taste in pizza is questionable, and we're gonna get into that in just a minute.
Wow.
I will say one of my favorite newer breweries to the Indianapolis scene is just on the near east side, Kismetic Brewery. The people are fantastic. The beers are absolutely amazing.
What do you like about it?
I'm in love with the Italian pills there, and really it's just Nicole and Ryan. They're just incredible people, and just the design of their space feels really comfortable. Everyone can come in from all walks of life, all economic backgrounds, and be accepted there. And those are my kind of places.
Their Schwartz beer is pretty incredible too. It won at Brewers Cup a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's
fantastic.
a super unique feel too. You walk in and it's not like any other brewery in the city.
How so? Describe it to me then.
I mean, just like Eddie said, kind of the decor, the theme that they've got going on. Their colors are very different and unique than anything else. It's got like a, I don't know, kind of like a 70s meets
Swanky.
yeah, but not like,
But not in a pretentious way.
Not pretentious swanky, like fun swanky.
It's like,
Yeah.
I just recently did a trip to Memphis and did another visit to Graceland, but it's kind of like, the Jungle Room. It's not that design, but it has that kind of feel that you're just comfortable. You feel like you step back in time. Another place, and I know we're talking about beer travelers, but Ashen Elm Cider is fantastic. The food's great. The ciders are great. It's near East Side as well. So anyone that's interested in that, great food and great ciders, it's a spot to be hit.
That's fun having the cidery in town? I know there's like the winery in town as well. That's over near Sun King. I don't actually know if they're still open.
Easley Winery.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. But there's diversity in the drink space here as well, and like some good distilleries as we were talking about.
Yeah,
as well.
we've got some distilleries that are killing it that are in downtown as well.
Is there collaboration between the two?
I'm not as caught up on that, but I think there is some collaboration happening between the breweries and local distilleries.
Nothing comes immediately to mind, but I know Hotel
Yeah.
Tango is a hot spot for especially if you like more distilled, spirits. But I don't know offhand if any of the barrels have been used for with any of the other breweries.
Yeah.
So
I know Sun King's got a pretty great program with West Fork Whiskey.
Yeah.
They are not located, their main location's not downtown, but they're great supporters of craft beer and of the Guild. And I think their barrel program is kind of off to the races.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So folks are going to come into town. They're here for a convention, be it the Craft Brewers Conference or not. They're staying downtown. Maybe they have expense accounts. I work in journalism, so I don't know what those are. But like but there's restaurants that people go out to. World Beer Cup is going to be here. It's going to happen that Thursday night. I think the awards happen that Thursday.
yeah, the awards are May 1st.
Yeah.
The judging is going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which is the 26th through the 28th.
Yeah. So that night, when people are feeling really great about winning at World Beer Cup, and they're going to go out somewhere downtown or somewhere in Indianapolis. You started, Julia, before on this on like restaurants downtown that you think do it right, or not even downtown. What are the restaurants that do it right? And so help me if you name a pizzeria.
Are you talking about specifically that support craft beer or just great restaurants you can't miss?
I think that great restaurants will probably have at least one or two taps on, but I
Yeah,
feel like
I think
after
that's
you've
fair.
won a World Beer Cup, like you're
And you
just
wanna
drinking.
celebrate.
Yeah, you're drinking bourbon. You're looking at the
Okay.
wine list. You're just like,
I'll
you know,
give
like
you,
Probably
like-
want a shrimp cocktail,
Yeah,
right?
I'll give you. I'll
are
give
we
you
doing
two or
this?
three.
Are we really doing this?
I'll give
Are
you
we
two
doing
or
the
three,
shrimp
and
cocktail?
then I mean, you have
Are
to.
we talking about
You
St.
have
Elmo?
You have to do St. Elmo's or Harry and Izzy's for the people who know, right?
Yeah.
Because
What?
Harry and Izzy's is a sister restaurant.
All right,
to
so
St.
talk to me
Elmo's.
about the difference between St. Elmo and Harry and Izzy, because like when I lived here, it was you would go downtown and you'd go to St. Elmo, and then they opened up a little speakeasy lounge upstairs.
Yeah, the 1933.
Is that cool?
Yeah, it is.
Is that
cool.
a good spot?
Yeah, I mean it's
Okay.
not a big food, like it's not full service restaurant,
Right.
but yeah, speakeasy kind of place, kind of a dark.
But Harry and
cozy
Izzy
feel.
next door to St. Elmo's, which
Yeah.
has been around since like 1908, 1903, something like that. Harry and Izzy, it's like it feels like Applebee's.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
No, I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
No, I think it's a little bit
All right,
more
prove the
upscale.
Jersey guy wrong. I'm here for it. I'm going to fight you on pizza, but prove me wrong on this because I'm willing to be proven wrong.
I don't think it's super like as fancy as St. Elmo's. Their menu, there are a lot of items that are the same, so you can get the shrimp cocktail in a less pretentious
Yeah, it's
feeling
more
way.
casual.
It's more casual. They've got a very cool circular bar in the middle, sports on.
Right,
Yeah,
and
Really, the
Applebee's-
service,
like
the service
Applebee's.
The
stands
service
out.
is
There's
impeccable.
state of the, top-notch service.
You're explaining to me a menu with unlimited options and TVs.
Not unlimited
not
options.
unlimited options.
But
I mean,
more options.
Quality
they have
options.
A lobster
Quality
tail on the menu, so it's not. I mean, I don't
right.
think Applebee's has lobster tails.
I mean, they're deep fried and they're battered, but like, yeah.
Check
Yeah.
it out. You won't be
Lobster
disappointed.
bits, yeah.
Some of us haven't been to Applebee's in 20 years, John.
That's true.
I'm with you on it. All right, so Harry and Izzy's downtown.
Yeah, I'd check
or
out
go
Harry
to
and
St.
Izzy's
Elmo.
or St. Elmo's if you can get a reservation.
Is it hard to get a reservation there?
I mean, I think it can be when there are conventions in town and people with expense
Okay.
accounts. So
Okay.
yeah,
so,
book it in
so,
advance.
So for the people, so all right, so now this makes sense, right? If you have the expense account and you want it to go a little bit further, you go next door to St. Elmo and you get a little bit more trappings.
Harry and
than
Izzy's.
Harry and Izzy's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would also add Iozzo's to the list.
I don't know
it's
that.
a great Italian place, really small, not a lot of tables, excellent food, excellent service, little bit off the beaten path, but still very downtown.
Okay.
And then I would also say if you're wanting to just hop around to a lot of fun pubs, to just walk up and down Mass Ave. Yeah. There's no better place, I think, to be able to walk and
Eddie's going to tell me that
find.
Basbo's is where I get the best pizza. And
Basbo's
not.
isn't bad, but I'm going to let Eddie talk about pizza. We probably have different opinions on what's good there.
all of the bars that I remember on Mass Ave are probably closed now.
Or what?
Probably closed.
There may be a few.
Maybe a couple.
There's a few that
the
are,
front page is gone, which is where I spent most of my time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's now the back page.
Oh, is it called?
No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be
It's
funny.
like that's a totally different thing in my line of work, and I want to know. All right, so where do you go, John?
Where do I go?
Yeah, like so you're done coordinating all of the volunteers for World Beer Cup. It's Thursday night.
Right.
You're like, all right, job well done. You pick a couple of the folks that you've had a really good time with. You want to go out into Indianapolis and be like, hey, this is my city, and I'm damn proud of it. Where do you go? Where do you take them?
Well, one place that comes just off the top of my mind that
And you're on Eddie's expense account, so like money is no option.
How do I get on Eddie's expense account?
well, all
You
that,
have to be nice to him
Same.
about. You have to be nice to him about pizza, which is why he doesn't pick up any of my
I see,
tabs.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well, all that money's definitely going to be going towards beer,
Yes.
rather than food. But for me, I actually would probably prefer more of the Tap has a pretty good selection of their
On
own.
Mass Ave?
On Mass Ave has a
Yeah.
pretty good selection, not only of their own stuff, but a pretty good selection of local and regional beer. The food's pretty solid for me. Me and my wife go there fairly frequently. I'm much more, I would say, low key.
Yeah.
So between that, used to frequent, not as much anymore, but like Chatham Tap for the whole soccer field
yeah.
with the large screen TVs.
Oh man, I forgot
And
about
Great
that.
Wings.
And Great Wings. They got a really solid hybrid between English and American food. But it's what I imagine an English pub would be if it converted to an American pub. I've never been to one in England, so
I don't disagree with that. Now that you think about, I spent time there in my younger days, and yeah.
But they also have a great selection, but it's more middle of the road and more kind of like a hearty pub feel than, cracking the expense account. you
Yeah.
know.
As you mentioned soccer, and the beer community has a lot of soccer fans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Where are you taking us, Eddie?
Taxman Brewery in City Way downtown is fantastic.
Great
the food's
spot.
Yeah.
top notch. The beer's great. Service is great. So
And
that's
it's
a
a
good
tap
spot.
room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taproom restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. Though more often than not, I'm probably popping in Futuro, getting a pizza, and then heading down to Dorman Street Pub. Great dive bar.
It's been
close
around
by.
forever. It's
And hanging out until they kick me out.
Sure, which probably doesn't take long, but like it's that's a great bar. That's in
It's near East Side.
Near
It's-
East
it's,
Side.
It's a really easy Uber ride.
in a neighborhood, but it's the type of place where you walk in and you immediately, if you've been drinking for a long time and you enjoy whatever it is that's in your glass, regardless of what it is, that's the bar that you walk into and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's the spot you walk in and see 30 brewers drinking domestic bottles.
100%. Yeah.
And just crushing them.
I feel like that's probably where I'm going.
To,
I've forgotten about Dorman. Yeah, no, that's yeah. I had a lot of nights where it was like, okay, it's time for you to go, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They weren't calling me sir. They were calling me kid at that point, probably. All right, Eddie, just justify this for just a second, because you eat pizza no matter where you go, and you love the combination of dough, sauce, cheese, and toppings, and you are an unapologetic lover of the food known as pizza, regardless of where it's made, and you're a critic. Like
no, I'm a lover, not a hater. That's why I call myself a pizza explorer.
Right.
I don't do ratings. I don't do public ratings. I'm not here to put my opinion on top of anyone else's.
But there are times that I've had conversations with you where like, yeah, I wouldn't go there.
Oh,
like,
privately, I'll share.
Exactly. So, but you have been a booster now on this program for the last little bit of Indiana pizza, and I lived here, coming from the New York metro area, and I can't agree with you but I also haven't probably had pizza here in 20 years. So tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's different. There's no such thing as Indiana style pizza, right? So we've got some great tavern styles, which, some people
can pound out a pork tenderloin thin enough to make it the size of a personal pan pizza.
That sounds delicious.
Right? Let's start this right now. So
I might get some haters, but I'm not a fan of Indiana tenderloins either. Give me a proper schnitzel or a GTFO.
Oh man.
But yeah, so for the pizzas, they've got great tavern style at Futuro. They got great tavern style at Daredevil. Those are my two favorite tavern style spots. If you like the edge-to-edge cracker crust toppings, they got it and they're nailing it. And then, like I said, for Detroit style, I haven't had better than Futuro. There's a little brewery in Athens, Ohio, Little Fish, that does an equally as good job. And Michigan and Trumbull up outside Detroit that does equally a good job, but no one's doing better than Futuro. Now, currently, there's not a New York, Jersey style slice spot in town that I love. There has been one. I have. And
Stop it.
It's okay.
I'm a fan. First, by the slice to walk down the street.
Yeah, but
it's not bad for that.
I'm talking to Mr. Jersey here, and so I know the standard he's got, and it's not at that level.
I'm not saying that I'm going to leave Sun King at 10 p.m. after a day of drinking and not go to Goodfellas and eat a slice on my way back. Right? It's 100% great for that. Where the next day I'm like, oh, what did I do? Fine. But sober at 5 p.m. No.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, my favorite slice in Indiana is from Casey's General Store gas station. That's the best slice you can get in Central Indiana.
You're not the only person I've ever heard say that.
All right, now I'm curious. All right, so John and Julia, out of the two of you, who's going to defend the pork tenderloin sandwich? Because I will, but I want to hear it from Hoosiers.
I'm going to let John go first.
Man, I'm sorry to disappoint my fellow Hoosiers, but it's okay. So it's about as in my mind as good as the sugar cream pie.
Whoa, you don't like sugar cream pie?
That's valid.
Either?
Yeah,
they're
good. They're good, but I don't know that I'd rave. Yeah, I grew up on Polish food, so
sure.
Yeah.
All right, so who makes the best pierogi in town?
My mother.
What are her hours during CBC?
I think she's retired, so. But we could put in special orders.
You could make a killing during CBC. Just set up outside of the convention center. Get your mom. Get a little street cart.
Yeah.
I will buy all of that. Yeah.
Same.
We could probably do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the best volunteer thank you. Is here is fresh Hoosier made pierogi from my mom.
Yeah. Well.
Oh man.
Long time ago, she was involved with the Polish Cultural Society back in the '80s, and so heavily steeped in it. And I won't say I know how to make pierogi, but maybe I can cover her.
Okay.
You have a few weeks to fix that.
Yeah.
Don't put all your faith.
No, we're going to
me.
put it up on allaboutbeer.com as where you guys can find. All right, so pork tenderloin sandwich.
I love them.
Yeah,
everyone should try it.
Right.
If you haven't, Indiana is the opportunity.
It's pounded paper thin.
Sometimes they're not paper thin.
Okay,
Sometimes
but I
they're
like
a little
the paper
thicker.
thin ones.
I may agree to disagree with you on that. I don't know. It depends on where you get it, I guess.
See, I was here when I was 23, and now I'm thinking that maybe I had a baby palate.
That you had a what?
Like a baby palate back then.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
All right, so tell me. All right.
Well, there's
so
like a tenderloin trail in Indiana, I think. Similar. Yes, I'm serious. Kind of like a beer trail
passport
or
system.
Or bourbon. Yeah,
I love that.
It's run by some organization.
All right, so if somebody comes in, and you mentioned schnitzel, which shows up on a lot of the Eddie, you showed up on a lot of the menus. So what is the perfect tenderloin sandwich then in your mind?
Like how is it made or where do I get it?
No, how is it made and then where do you get it?
Oof, Good question.
Because I'm always thinking paper thin, where it's
Yeah.
like comic, where you
Yeah.
get the little bun and like the tenderloin is
Larger
is
than the
enough to
plate.
fill,
Larger
like,
than the
4
plate.
buns.
Right, exactly, yeah.
A lot of those places, honestly, will serve it that way and then sell you a second or third bun just so that you can make 2. I'm serious.
Well, that's
It's
how they
kinda
make their money.
It's kind of
This is the
wild.
bread up. This is the bread upcharge.
Or you cut
Yeah.
it and you stack it because they are so thin. I like mine a little thicker. I'm trying to think where I've had one recently. The Tap does a pretty good.
Okay.
Tenderloin. I think I've heard that Working Man's has a tenderloin, though I've not had it there.
I can never get past the smash burger there.
When it's what they're known for, that's what you should get, right?
Yeah.
I don't order them a lot, but I do really love them. I'm sorry I don't have a better
No,
recommendation.
no, that's fine.
More often than not, I find them dried out, and I don't
Yeah,
enjoy
they
them
can
very
be.
dry.
Dried out or chewy, so it's very difficult to find a
Yeah.
banging one.
Okay. I feel like they're good drunk food, though.
For sure.
So that transitions us into folks are coming into town. We've been drinking. We've been having a good time. We've made our bad decisions with Godfather's Pizza and a pork tenderloin sandwich the night before. The next day, we need sustenance. We need coffee. We need to build a base. We need to get back into action. Eddie, where do we go?
I'm going to Love Handle on Mass Ave.
Tell me about it. I don't know it.
It
wasn't open when I was there.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those hoof to snout type of restaurants. So you could
Okay.
get anything, but it's fantastic.
Okay.
Greasy, big carbs, meat,
Okay.
all those things you
Love
need.
Handle and Mass Ave.
Yep.
Easy to get to from any of the hotels.
Very
downtown.
easy.
Julia, where are you sending people?
I think the best omelet in town is at Cafe Patashu, right downtown, super, super close to get to. Like, it's basically at the convention center. So if you don't want to walk a long way and you're downtown, that's a solid spot. There's also a place in Fountain Square, and the name is escaping me.
Milktooth.
I'm sorry.
Milktooth?
Milktooth is awesome. Not what I was thinking, but
Absolutely.
that's definitely a
What's
stop.
awesome about it?
It's super unique, and I think the chef is
Chef driven.
like Michelin star sort of situation.
Oh.
But
James
it's,
Beard
but it's
nominated.
It's not a.
It's more of a brunch.
Fancy, yeah, kind of
it's kind of
brunchy.
a brunch. It's I don't know. It's upscale casual, I guess, if you
Okay.
want to.
Yeah,
If that's a
limited
thing.
menu,
Yeah.
but interesting choices,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going,
The
John?
place I was thinking
Oh, yeah.
in Fountain Square was like a diner, and I can't remember the name of it. It's over by the Hi-Fi, which is a great spot for music if anybody's looking for live music while they're here. It'll come to me later,
Yeah.
probably.
Where else do we go for live music in town? Slippery Noodle's still around.
Slippery Noodle is a great spot. I think there are also some receptions going
This
on
is it?
there, maybe in conjunction with
Oh, yeah?
during CBC. So
Oh.
yeah, don't miss the Slippery Noodle.
Yeah. Indiana's or the city's oldest bar?
There's some debate on that, but they claim to
Yeah.
be the oldest operating license
In Indiana.
in Indiana.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
it.
This is it. Yeah.
As far as live music, Chatterbox is a little shotgun bar that is just
Yeah.
100% one of my favorite live spots.
I
to
second
go
that
to.
emotion.
Yeah.
Especially when you see a musician coming in well after the main guys have done their set, and then they just freestyle and set up, and
Yeah.
it's got a lot of charm to it. And
That's like the Stone Pony after the main show's over in Jersey. Like it's the So where do people go, John, in your mind, the day after? You know, it's you guys have closed up World Beer Cup. You've gone out the night before, and now you're up that morning, and you're like, all right, I need to lay down a base. I need to have some good food. You know, where do you go after all of those cast-offs that night?
I don't know if we're talking about the morning and like people are sleeping in.
No, I'm talking like 1 p.m.
Oh, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how the rest of you do it, but yeah.
That's almost my dinner time, John.
We haven't mentioned tacos at all, but there's a little spot called Julietta Tacos
Oh, tell
in
me
the
about it.
Stutz building, which is just a little outside the downtown area. Maybe best tacos I've ever had.
Really?
No drinks. So you're not
Okay.
going to get a beer with your tacos.
No Bloody Marys.
No Bloody Marys. It's simple. It's tiny. Grab and go. It'll knock your socks off. Very
Okay.
good.
What's it called again?
Julieta Tacos.
Julieta Tacos in the Stutz building.
Yeah.
In the corner of what and what?
Great question. No idea.
Okay,
I have
great.
to put it in my GPS.
No, that's
I'm a
fine.
GPS gal.
All right. That works. Where do you go after a rough night, though, John?
After a rough night?
Yeah, or just like a normal night. I'm not here to judge.
Rough or normal, is it Bluebeard in Fountain Square?
Yeah.
That's a really great spot.
Amazing restaurant.
That's probably, probably in this, it's not too far from like Milk Tooth, kind of same style and setup. If you're looking for something just to kind of fill your stomach, and you really crave like New Orleans, I don't think you can go wrong with Yats. But I've been eating it for like, well over 15 years.
Yeah. So Yats to me is what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah.
Like
you won't be disappointed.
Like 20 years ago, it doesn't stay open late anymore. It used to. Like it used to be the 2 a.m. spot, but now they have respectable, like, we have kids hours from like 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. or something like that. But I feel like you should go. My plan is on Sunday, I'm just going to load up on stuff and bring it to the hotel and put it in the fridge.
That's what I was going to say. Pro tip right there.
Yeah.
Get Yats and then keep it on standby.
Yes.
Because it will be so good.
Right. Like 2 days later, crawfish etouffee, 2 days later at midnight when you get back to your hotel room and you're eating it off of a spork out of a styrofoam tray. Like, oh my God. Like it's almost enough for me to get excited about over-serving myself.
What could go wrong?
All of the things. Anybody standing next to me the next day. But yes, like 100%. Like it is. Yats has multiple locations around town. It's going to sound like the show is sponsored by them, which it is not. But I'm so excited.
It's not what your shirt says, John.
Yeah, there's a flag being waved behind me of eat it, Yats, that kind of thing. I'm really excited about Indy. Like I think like you all have a really cool city here, and it's going to do some cool things.
I will say, John,
yeah,
one of our other unique spots to Indy that's just absolutely fantastic is Goose the Market. To get up and get a fantastic sandwich. I mean, they're a meat processing company. They have jowl bacon, and you can get some of the best sandwiches.
Goose the Market.
Yeah, Goose the Market, and just right two doors down, you can pop into Abandoned Station, which is narrow gauge brewery from St. Louis. It's their satellite taproom location.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, you can.
Where's that in relation to downtown?
It's near Northside.
All right. Fun.
Super easy to get to on the Pacers bike share program that we didn't talk about, but there are bikes all over the city.
Like the basketball team, the Pacers.
Yeah.
I'm a Knicks fan, so we're gonna just walk away from it. Reggie Miller broke my heart for too many years.
Yeah,
and I can't go from there. All right, so in the last couple minutes that we have here, I have two questions. Then we talked about the Vonnegut Museum. We talked about the Pacers bikes, non-beer and food related things. What are two things that people should try to do and see before they leave Indianapolis, Eddie Chimi?
Yeah, for me, it's Newfields, the Indianapolis Art Museum. It's a huge campus, amazing art and great space to get out and walk around. And then also Crown Hill Cemetery. If you're into cemetery action, it's like a beautiful park.
A lot of history.
Got the one of the highest hills, elevated spots in the state is there, right up by James Riley's tomb. John Dillinger's tomb is in there.
Yeah.
Some president from Indiana, that Ben Harrison guy, his tomb's in there. So it's just a beautiful space. People go and jog. They do tours in the evenings, and it's just a fantastic space to get out and get some fresh air and be away from all the live people that you've been around the last couple of days.
John, two places people should go?
Yeah, so I'm just going to have to piggyback off of one of Eddie's comments. So Newfields, right around that time on that weekend, has a spring bloom, and so all the flowers around the Ruth Lilly house and on that property should be weather permitting, it should be absolutely gorgeous. And then I still think that like walking around, especially on the cultural trail downtown in Indy, will allow a lot of people to find some gems that we haven't talked about, because there is so much to do, there is so much to see, that it is overwhelming, and it's a little bit too much to cram in one podcast. And
I walked from downtown to here, so up Capitol and then up Indiana, and just the Heritage Trail on Indiana Avenue with the sound experience and the outdoor art was just incredible. And I was stopping at all of it and sort of learning about it, and then going up Mass Ave as well, where there's a lot of outdoor art. There's a lot of just like there's reasons to walk around downtown, and it's very easy to do. It might take a little while, but like it's the crosswalks are well marked and it's easy to do, and so it's a lot of fun. All right, so give us 2.
Can I have 3?
Sure, 3.
I'll be fast. 2 of them are complimentary.
No, that's
if you're
fine.
at all into sports, find your way out to the Motor Speedway.
As you do.
It's worth seeing if you like IndyCar racing.
Yes.
It's very cool.
Even if you don't,
even
I think
if you
it's
don't,
cool.
it's cool to see. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can stop at Daredevil while you're out there. There's a
Yeah.
brewery nearby. Second sports spot, the NCAA Museum is
Yep.
very cool. If you're traveling into town and you are bringing your family and you have kids, there are activities there. Kind of in the sports theme. It's a very fun, different spot that you're just not going to find in a different city. And then the third thing I'd mention, and maybe this is part of the cultural trail, I'm not super familiar, but the kind of just walking along the canal to the White River State Park is a really, really beautiful walk. If the weather is nice outside, it's a short jaunt, and you kind of get to see the skyline and lots of people out. It's very safe. You'll see people walking their dogs and jogging, and lots to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
IMAX Theater is right out there as well.
Yeah, the
so,
IMAX.
yeah.
John, before we go, I want to ask you just, you're the volunteer coordinator for World Beer Cup this year.
Yes.
How are you feeling getting into it? How should the brewers feel about how you're feeling about getting into it?
I cannot overestimate how excited I am about the comp. I was at GABF this past year to kind of get acclimated and get a good idea of how everything's going to get run. We just started sending out formal invitations last week, and we're getting a lot of responses. I'll probably be doing follow-ups this week. The window's kind of closing. We probably have about a week to 2 weeks before volunteership closes. But traditionally, World Beer Cups had about right around 9,000 entries. Innumerable countries are participating. It's a huge endeavor, and the logistics are nothing to sneeze at. And I still feel just ecstatic. I can't wait for it to come. I can't wait to see friends, introduce, everybody from the judging and from the amateur side, and volunteers with stewarding. So I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. A great time.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I let you all go, I've been asking this question on the show for a long time now, and it's the green door question. So on the television show The Good Place, in the final season, they introduce a concept of a green door, and the characters can walk through it and be anywhere they want, doing whatever they want. And so if we had a green door on our plane of existence, and you could walk through it and be at any pub or any brewery anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Who would you want to be with? And what would you like to be drinking? Eddie Chimi.
Oh, wow. I think at this point, right now, I would like to be at Broad Ripple Brew Pub having a cask ESB with the brewer Jonathan Mullins.
Okay. I like that. Julia, what would you do?
This is a really deep question.
It is.
I like it.
Yeah,
And I can only pick one.
I mean, follow it where it takes you.
We're filming this episode when it's cold outside. I could really go for some warm weather.
This is just audio. Like, Are there cameras?
No.
I was not told there'd be cameras.
I apologize. I said filming. I guess I meant recording.
Yes,
Wrong
we're recording
word.
this when it's cold outside.
To be fair, I did tell her that it was going to be a live video feed before we came in.
He was trying to make me nervous.
Yeah, he was trying to freak us out beforehand.
Okay, so we're recording.
This is your first podcast.
It is my first podcast.
Has it been okay so far?
Yeah, it's been so fun.
5 out of 5 stars?
6 out of 5 stars.
Like and subscribe?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sign me up again. All right, so it's cold outside. I'd rather be somewhere warm.
Yes.
I a couple times have traveled to an island in the Bahamas called Long Island and stayed at a place called Tiny's.
Okay.
And it's not a pub, it's just a tiny restaurant, and they make these delicious tropical drinks that you can sit with your feet in the sand, and that's exactly where I would be.
See, that does sound really nice.
Yeah.
And not an Indiana-made pizza in sight, which is just
No pizza probably on the island at all,
No.
honestly. No, it's just
if there was, Chimi would
conch
sniff it
fritters.
out, and it would just be, conch fritters.
conch fritters and fruity drinks, yeah.
Yeah. Why are we even having CBC here this year? Let's just do that.
I agree.
That sounds great. John, any pub, any brewery, anywhere in the world, where are you going? What are you drinking, and who are you with?
So for me, it would probably be it's not a pub, it's not a brewery, but it's you said any place.
All right. I didn't. I said any pub or any brewery, but
or any
have to
place.
renew
Sure, or any place, yeah.
So there's a
Says
place.
this dude. Yeah, who's got?
There's a place in Krakow that's kind of a bottle shop that has very unique taps of different beers from all over Europe, in addition to meads and ciders. And I've been there a couple times when I was in Krakow, but to be there again with my wife in the summer and enjoy a nice summer walk in the streets of Krakow after having beer that we couldn't find anywhere else, here in the States, and mead that we couldn't find anywhere else in the States is like the pinnacle for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
How about you, John?
Oh, I've answered this question before. This is if I could.
It doesn't change?
If I could be at any bar in Indianapolis, I guess is what I would. I would pick one that had Sun King's Wee Mac on. Their Scotch heavy, and I would just have multiple rounds of it.
We could make that dream come true.
Yeah, no, it's
Lots of places with Wee Mac on.
Right,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
hard,
like a
but
tour, a Wee Mac tour.
yeah, but it's just it's really
Wee
good.
Mac tour.
A Wee Mac tour.
With a pork tenderloin sandwich, the way that I
Yes.
like it, not too far
What a better-
away.
Can't think of a better day.
We'll go to Basbo's. We'll get some pizza. It'll be disappointing. Thank you to the three of you. I hope that everybody listening right now, that you're on your way to Indianapolis, and if you haven't made your plans, that you are coming to Indianapolis, like changing your plans now to come here. It's going to be great. Like this is a cool city for beer. There's great beer culture that's here. There's great places to eat. There's awesome music and art and life, and it's going to be fun. So thanks to you three for being great boosters of your city and state, and for hanging out with me this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, one last audio reminder. If you're going to be in Indianapolis for the Craft Brewers Conference, come out and see us at Sun King Brewery on April 28th, 29th, and 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. as we do a number of live audience podcasts that you won't want to miss. Go visit allaboutbeer.com. There you can check out new content as well as the archives, which go all the way back to 1979. And you can always reach me anytime via email at John Holl, that's JOHNHOLL, at allaboutbeer.com. Follow All About Beer on social media at All About Beer. And here is a quick word from this week's sponsors. Stomp Stickers isn't just a website. It's your custom printing partner with over 30 years of expertise. Their support squad is ready to help by phone, chat, or email. Combining top-notch customer service with a super easy-to-use site, they're all about making sure you get exactly what you need, fast. Shop with confidence thanks to their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Visit stompstickers.com and use code ThinkBeer for 15% off of your first order. You love craft beer. You'll love Indy. The Indy Craft Pass is your free passport to more than 40 of the city's best breweries: Sun King, Metazoa, Upland, and so many more. Check in, earn points, score swag. Yes, beer can actually win you prizes. Sip local and explore new tap rooms and make your beer run count. Grab your free Indy Craft Pass now at visitindy.com and let the good beers roll. If you're running a brewery, owner or operator, Beer 30 by the Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow, from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. Make sure you tune into the All About Beer podcast channel. You can search and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Steal This Beer, 10 years old now, has new episodes every Monday, and the BYO Nano podcast comes out on the 15th of every month. As for this show, Nate Weber does the music, Jeff Quinn designed our logo, and I'm John Holl. New episodes release every Wednesday, and that's when I'll be back again to drink beer and to think beer. See you in Indiana.